Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Covert, and I'm so excited to get to sit down with our guest artist, pianist Natasha Paremski. Natasha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kelly?
Good. It's so good to see you again. When we last saw each other in person was for the Rachmaninoff Festival, where you did your amazing feat of playing all four Rachmaninoff concertos in 2 nights. Are you recovered from that?
Um, well, as you can imagine, after a year of over a year of
Over a year.
quarantining, I
Mhm.
mean, it was uh, honestly, I'm so grateful to fate that um, we were able to do that. And I just can't imagine having been able to have accomplished that together with Larry and Symphoria and and be on that journey with the audience, the full audience, like the absolute capacity
Yeah.
audience both nights. It was for me a personal career highlight, absolutely like bar none. And it's yeah, and then to accomplish something so intense for all of us, and then to have everything taken away
Hmm.
was really stunning. Is like kind of the word that comes to mind. And yeah, am I recovered? No, I still just I remember that with just such joy. It brings me joy and it gives me more confidence and also like what I can do because you sometimes think, I mean, when I first learned Rock 3, and I remember the first time I played it from like beginning to end, when I was learning it, got to the end of the first movement and I thought, oh my God, there's still half an hour of music left. Like,
How will I
and,
ever?
and how to, the second movement begins so intricately. Oh my God, it's so hard. And then I remember performing it for the first time. And I remember thinking, people do like 4 nights in a row of this concerto. This is crazy. This is madness. And then you build up a stamina. And then I did like 3 in a row. And I was like, well, that was not so, that was actually quite nice. I got into a real rhythm with it. But it never would have occurred to me to be like, oh, so you'll do the first concerto and the third concerto, and you'll do the fourth concerto and then the second concerto over 2 nights. I thought that's madness. And then interestingly, I I really worked on building up that stamina. And after playing with Symphoria, my next concert the week after was Rock One. And I remember going on stage with all this stamina that I'd built up with playing four concertos. And after I finished the first concerto, I'm like, well, that was it.
I'm
I've
done.
got like three more concertos in me. You want to keep going? you know?
Well,
So,
and you know what it reminds me of is just this idea that we rise to the challenge that we take, like to the challenge that we're given. So, maybe you would have never have even thought that you could do that, but then you're like afforded this opportunity and you're like, okay, let's go for it. And I just
yeah.
think that's so gutsy. Like, I just love that about you.
Oh,
Just,
well, thank you. I probably have to just blame my parents for that because they were always rise to the occasion and, jump into immigration type people. And, my mom really made the decision to cross the pond with all of us. And
Mhm,
she really jumped in head first and asked questions later. And
mhm.
so it's my upbringing probably.
For sure.
Um,
Well, and I was thinking before we got on, I was thinking about some things I wanted to ask you. And I know that you and Larry talked a lot about Tchaikovsky and a lot about what you're doing right now in the music world. But I have to tell you, one of the things that I remember about the very first time you played with us, when you played one of the Prokofiev piano concertos, was in addition to how stunning your playing was, you had the most amazing shoes. Like you had these like they were like crystals and it was like I just was like that is so amazing. And so I was thinking I wanted to kind of ask you like do you have sort of like this passion for fashion? Is that really important to you? Like how does that come into play for you as a person but also as an artist?
I love fashion. I'm obsessed with fashion. And I think that also comes from my mom, because my mom actually used to make all our clothes, and
Oh,
she used to
wow.
have these incredible catalogs, and she would just from scratch, like just buy fabric and make all our clothes, even in America. Although it turned out to be cheaper to just buy clothes than make clothes in America.
Funny
So
how that is.
I know it's bizarre, but yeah, I don't know. I'm a girly girl, so I guess it is a form of expression for
Hmm.
me. And I love beautiful things. I love how they make me feel. They give me confidence. Walking on stage in a beautiful gown and like some really gorgeous shoes that really only see the light of day when they're on stage, because you know, with age and having worn them enough times, your feet are like, you need to stop this. So
Right.
like,
No, thank you.
the days of me taking the subway in those kind of shoes are beyond me.
Hmm.
But I wear them on stage, and it does give me a sense of power. I mean, maybe some people consider that a surfacey statement, but I just consider that kind of like, it's really like putting on a costume, and you put on this
Hmm.
costume and you walk out off stage, and it becomes this ceremony, and you sit down, and it gives you confidence.
Hmm. I love that. Well, and it makes me think too about the other side of that, where as a female artist, do you feel like there's more pressure on women who are soloists to sort of be this full package and like show up in all of these ways? Like you have to have the great dress and the great shoes and the great chops and like all of the things, whereas, maybe not as much pressure is put on male artists?
Uh, that's a trap. um, but yeah, I think just I probably in general in society, it's expected more is expected of women in terms of appearance and presentation. It takes me a lot longer to put myself together than my partner, and I'm okay to admit that.
Hmm.
And uh, but it's also it's not I don't but I personally don't feel that pressure from society. Like I don't feel like, oh my God, I wish I could just wear my Lululemons on stage, and not wear makeup and like, I don't know, stop brushing my hair. I don't feel like that's imposed by society. I think that's imposed by me and wanting to look a certain way.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, and I love what you said, that it's like this almost like an armor. Like it's sort of like signals your psyche that it's time to perform. It's part of the ritual, if you will, right?
yeah, exactly. And as I'm getting ready, I I just think about what I'm about to play. It becomes this kind of meditation, and I I don't mind it. And I'm the kind of person that if I did mind it, I'd fight it.
Yeah.
And I've fought it in different ways, and I mean, this will give you such a laugh. I remember doing this conference. It used to be called the League of American Orchestras, but it was called something else, American Orchestra League or something. Anyway, and I did the Corleone Piano Concerto, and it's such a modern piece, and I decided to wear something below the knee. Oh no. My manager called me and said, I can't believe you did that. You can't do that. All people were talking about were your ankles. This was in 2008.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, that has since changed, and we don't need to go into detail about who or why, but I certainly now, I played Gershwin with um, the, gosh, what was I? Charleston with the Charleston Symphony recently, and I just thought to myself, why would I wear this long gown when this is just a fun jazzy piece from the Roaring? Like it was written in the teens, right before like the Roaring 20s, and just it's so flamboyant, and so I wore something short. But these days, people are a lot more receptive to it. So.
Hmm.
But you do consider those things. You absolutely have to consider those things, and
100%. Well, I just always think it's interesting to talk about these questions because, when you get up on stage as a performer, it's not only about the music. As much as we would like for it to be only about the music, there is other things that we have to consider. So thank you for humoring me in talking about this. And we're so excited to have you on stage with us again. And we're also looking forward to having you play Gershwin with us in the fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get a fun jazzy outfit for that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Natasha, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Kelly.